Hey everyone, this is Snark with Snark's Domain, and hope you guys are having a good weekend. Mine was pretty good. Got some stuff done around the house. I mowed the lawn. It needed to get mowed pretty bad. Don't tell my wife, but I also bought a lawnmower. Probably going to be in trouble for that one. That's okay. I mean, she knows that we got to get one, but yeah, I don't think she was expecting me to go get one without chatting to her about it. Yeah, test out the, I think they're pronounced air hut. And, yeah, I don't know. Be interesting to see. They're not terrible, I'll say that. Actually, they're decent. They're not the best, though. Decent budget option for those who are, haven't tried putty yet. They're still stuck on pads and they want to get a pack of thermal pads on Amazon. Not a horrible way to go. See if I can set that out of the way. Apartment living for you, so no mow. That's yeah, I mean, sometimes it's fun to mow the lawn. I don't know why. It shouldn't be. Let's see if I can get the lighting a bit better here. I don't know if that's something like that. I've lived in an apartment once for it was about 7 months. Actually, it was funny. So I had just moved to a different town, or like a big city. I'd left like my hometown, and I stayed in a hostel for a while, for like, I don't know, probably about 6 weeks. I was just staying in a hostel. Didn't find a place, and got a job right away. Everything was good. Sorry, can't think and talk at the same time sometimes. Yeah, I'm just gonna toss these. They're quite soft. They're reasonably soft, but I don't plan on using them other than for testing. So, yeah. Then I moved into this apartment with one of the guys that I'd met. That he was also in the hostel for a while, for like a month or so as well. So I was living there, and then yet another guy. Also from the hostel. You meet friends and stuff that way. So there's 3 of us living in this place, paying rent to like the first main guy, basically. Anyways, months go by, and he wanted like first month's, last month's, and security deposit. So it was like 3 months rent right up front, which kind of sucked. But like I was like, okay, well, I guess that's how it works here, whatever. So I did. So the one guy then goes and moves out and goes back to Australia, and he was trying to get his security deposit back, and the first, like the main dude, wasn't giving him his security deposit, and he was like, he said he was going to, but then the guy went to Australia. Excuse me. And then he messaged me. He's like, hey, just heads up, he might not give you your security deposit back. He told me the whole story. I was like, holy crap, that's crazy. And he was kind of like the first guy that I was paying rent to. He was a little bit sketchy. So I didn't want to like confront him and, have him like, I don't know, like block me out or something. I don't know. So I was already planning to move to a different city. And I got along with the apartment manager really well. Like, I would just like go down every so often and just sort of like sit there in their office and just like chat and stuff. And yeah, they seemed to enjoy the conversation as well. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna be moving and stuff. So I like told the guy, I gave him, I don't know, 6-7 weeks notice kind of thing. And I was like, oh, and I'll use my, I think I told him 2 months early. And I said I'd use my like last month deposit, whatever. And he's like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And then I also said that I'd use my security deposit as like an extra last month so that I wouldn't be expecting it back, and basically didn't have to pay, you know, rent for those 2 months. And there's nothing he could say, of course, because he was holding on to 2 months rent from me. So and he never told me anything, that there was any problems, anything like that. So I go down to the office and I'm talking to the property manager and just being like, hey, yeah, I just figured I'd let you guys know I'm going to be moving to a different city. And they're like, oh, shoot, you know, it'll be sad to see you leave kind of thing. But then they were like, did he not tell you? And I was like, tell me what? And they're like, like he's getting evicted. And I'm like, evicted? What do you mean? So here, he hadn't been, he was like super late, excuse me, on paying rent. And he was just using our deposit money and like rent money to pay for it. But when the one guy moved out, that meant that it was literally just my rental payments, or like subletting or whatever that you'd call it, that was paying for the whole thing. And of course he was starting to run short, and he wasn't really like holding down a job at all. So yeah, so I was like, holy crap, like that's wild. I can't remember if I ever confronted him or not. I don't think it came up. Yeah, I just sort of like, you know, it's not always worth it to for the drama. I just not interested. But when it comes to thermal putty, for some reason, ooh, do I ever find myself in ways of getting into a pickle with the drama. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try and not do that as much. It's difficult though. I can't, it's kind of out of my control how things do. And yeah, I can't really do much about one person being really upset with me, so that's okay. Yeah, sometimes it's good just to like leave the cards on the table and just walk away from stuff without putting up a fight for things. Like, I did an engine swap on my car years ago. Well, I've done a couple, but the first one, I actually took it to the dealership. Basically, the timing belt went, and it was an interference engine, so it kind of chewed itself apart, unfortunately. And had to, so I got it towed to the dealership, and they're like, oh, you know, it's probably going to need the engine rebuilt or a new engine. And I was like, oh, you know, how much is that going to cost? And at the time, I like really didn't want to get rid of the car. So they told me the cost, and I thought about it a bit, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So did an engine swap. They sourced the engine, and they said it was supposed to have a warranty for, it was like 20,000 kilometers and 1 year, whichever one was up first. So if after like 8 months it was at 25 or 20,000 kilometers, the warranty would then end, kind of thing. Either way, drove it away for the next couple months, Had to keep going back to the dealership for them to just like fix one thing or another, which was super annoying. Because the guy like took a while to do the swap, and he wasn't super experienced with it, because it's not something dealerships do anymore, you know, unless you're Hyundai, which they do quite a bit of engine swaps lately. But that's a whole nother thing with engine deburring. Anyways, after 9 months, it was wintertime, I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden there's a check engine light and the oil light is flashing. I don't know if you guys know this, but if the oil light is ever flashing, I don't care if you're 500 meters from your house or the gas station, you just pull over and you turn your car off. Hey Francesco, how's it going? You definitely don't you don't keep driving. What did I do? I kept driving. I was like, I'll be able to get to the next gas station, it'll be fine. Well, it wasn't fine. The engine seized. It was really sad. And yeah, I got it towed to the dealership, and they looked at it. Of course, it's still supposed to be under warranty, right? For both the parts and the labor. And they said that the one seal between the block and the filter, there's like an oil cooler there that some coolant runs through a little tiny loop, little custom loop water cooling. And there's a seal that was like completely dried out, I guess, and it just kind of split open, and all the oil jettisoned out basically of the engine, leaving it practically bone dry. And yeah, engines don't like that. They like oil. So I was like, okay, well, this is covered under warranty, right? And they're like, well, it was a used engine. And I was like, what do you mean it was a used engine? Like, yeah, I know that, but you guys supplied it. But yeah, they argued that it was a used engine, and that meant that the warranty wasn't valid. And yet, on their website, it still said, you know, all parts and service are warranted by, you know, this dealership and stuff, or like the main brand. And I showed them that, and they were like, oh, you know, they hummed and hawed about it. I actually took it to, I filed a formal thing with AMVIC, because I live in Alberta. So AMVIC is the automobile, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like a auto vehicle something association or council or something. Anyways, they're an authority that can go in and like penalize or fine or something, I think, dealerships and like other car stuff, and make sure they're abiding by the laws and everything. So filed the thing there, and they asked some questions and stuff, but then they basically just went to the dealership and got, you know, obviously they need to get their side of the story too. And it came back and they're like, yeah, there wasn't enough evidence to like support your claim. And I'm like, what? So yeah, there was unfortunately nothing came of that. And I learned that just sometimes you can't always win. But you can you can try. But in the end, it's more how much energy do you want to put into it or not. And I mean, I probably should have put in just a little bit more. I guess the next step would have been getting a lawyer at that point. Yeah, so yeah, dealerships, you gotta try to hold them accountable, but sometimes it doesn't work. They're pretty well connected, I think, unfortunately. So yeah, the really sad thing is that, well, I later got a different engine put in. That one actually got it running again for a little while, but it was just running pretty rough. It needed quite a bit of work. It was never the same. It had valve issues. It definitely needed a bunch of work up top, and they were like giving me quotes, and I'm like, this is so pointless. So I put a different engine in, and then I rebuilt that other engine myself with a buddy, and we put in like new seals and everything, and threw it on the dyno. Everything was going good, and was driving that around for a while. I decided to swap the radiator, and I'm trying to get this thing off. It's a little tight. I must have cranked on it last time. There we go. So I swapped the radiator to a Mishimoto radiator. Or no, sorry, I wasn't on a Mishimoto radiator. I was still on a stock radiator at that point. There was a slight leak of the radiator with the OEM one, and I figured out that it was the little tiny plastic drain plug on the bottom of the radiator. So like a nothing part. So I took it. Well, it sucks. It really sucks, because when I figured this out, I was like 800 meters from, maybe like 1.2 kilometers from this same dealership. The same dealership that is like the brand of my car. So as much as I, understandably dislike that dealership, I was like, well, they'll have the part in stock because it's the same brand. It was a Honda. I'll give you guys that much. I mean, they're good little cars. So I let it cool down. I added some water. It wasn't getting like that hot or anything, but it was leaking. And I just like limped it to the dealership, gave them the keys, explained exactly what it was. I was like, it's the drain plug. Because I got outside my car, started the car, and mine's got a cable throttle body, and so I was like revving the engine, and I could see, water dripping, or coolant dripping out the bottom. So I told them what the problem was, and I was like, all you guys have to do, and all I want you to do, is replace the drain plug. And they're like, okay, yeah, we can get it in like, over the next hour and a half and stuff. I was like, okay. They gave me a ride home, whatever. So they're like, they called me a couple hours later, and they're like, yeah, your car's ready. And so I go and pick it up and stuff and pay or whatever, and didn't have to pay very much. It wasn't super expensive or anything. I think I'm gonna just do, yeah. So then I drove it around for a while, and all of a sudden I'm driving like in town, low speed. These are 1 mil. I'm gonna have to stack them, by the way, just so you guys know what's going on. But let's get back to the story. So it starts overheating, and I stop right away as soon as I see that it's overheating. I don't drive any further. I didn't like. I basically just called a tow truck right away and got my my friend to come, or I got it towed to a buddy's place, the same one that has the dyno that I'd done all the rebuilding work with. And yeah, we take a look at it, and unfortunately there is metal in the oil, and yeah, we basically the engine was had to be completely rebuilt again. And what it was, this is gonna this is going to piss you guys off, I'm sure, is that the dealership, instead of taking the plug out and putting a new one in, like, you know, draining it and putting the brand new plug and filling in it, they took the radiator out and they did a pressure test of the radiator, and then realized the radiator was fine, but it was just, or that the plug was leaking, just like, as if I had told them, and then put it back in, which, you know, that's all fine for the most part. What they forgot to do, was hook up the radiator fans. You know, it's good to laugh about this now. It just didn't feel very good then. So I'm driving around town, low speed, for a good 40 minutes. And, yeah, it didn't have enough airflow to keep it cool. So it, basically, can't remember if it fully seized or not. I mean, we didn't try and start it. We took it apart and found all the metal. So then, and my buddy, he was feeling pretty bad too for me, because we had just rebuilt this engine. He's like, but it's like a special kind of engine. It's not just a typical one. So he's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I really like this engine. Like, you know, how do you think it would cost to redo it? And he's like, you know, I got some favors I could call in, and we could do it, and it's still going to cost a bunch, but he agreed it's like probably better than buying an unknown engine and starting from scratch again and having to rebuild that. So because there wasn't any damage in the cylinder walls, like we were okay for the most part, just, you know, the bearings and the crank, the balance shafts, there was some damage there. So yeah, we ripped it all apart. He took it to a machine shop. They owed him a favor. We had it all machined, and they balanced the engine. They installed some, I think it was ACR race bearings. I'm short on pads for a sec. Oh, no, there we go. So they installed like some nice bearings, and yeah, I mean, the engine was dipped in a hot tank, so it was like, it came back so pristinely clean. Like, there was not a single shred of dirt or buildup or grime or anything. So yeah, and that's the engine that's in the car today. Still is that rebuilt one that the dealership had messed up with the radiator fans. I definitely could have gone and sued them, I'm sure. So I know, Cloud Deck, you're saying in the States, yeah, you have to sue. It's common for sure. There's it's definitely, it would be possible. Bring back dislike, but you're close, man. You are so close. That's you know, I don't drive a Civic or a Del Sol. No. I don't have four-wheel steering, because the Prelude only had four-wheel steering for the second gen, I think, in North America. But if you go to Europe, you can get a four-wheel steering 5th gen. So I drive a 5th gen Honda Prelude, and it's an awesome car. I really like it. I wasn't even sure I was going to tell you guys that, but I don't know. Bring back dislike button. You had such a close guess. You got to honor that sometimes, right? So yeah, I drive a Honda Prelude 2001, the last year they made them. I know. I also like the 4th gens. They look pretty good too. But yeah, I've got a 5th gen, so. And I've since put maybe, let's see. No, probably 30,000 kilometers on that rebuilt engine. So it's like, it's rock solid now. I have no complaints, no issues with it. Got, I think it's time I clean up my desk. Oh, actually, no. Yeah. You guys want to see something cool? Okay, this is Max Tour Thermal Pad XTP01 phase change silicone sheet. Blah, blah, blah. 38 by 38, so it's like set up for an AMD. Comes with a little book. We're not going to use this right now. Nice little vacuum pack seal. It's definitely phase change, two-side peel, but it comes with the little tweezers, and that's what I need right now. So we're going to put the phase change back. I was just curious. I wanted to open it up, see what their packaging looked like. I was going to show you guys that later, but I need some tweezers, so. Oh, let's see. Cloudiac says you had a 2011 325 Xi. You had to sell it when moving to Hawaii. I regret it. Yeah, rear BMW that didn't drain me in repairs. That's 2011. I'm trying to think if I drove. Well, I didn't drive a 325. That's for sure. Yeah, those are nice little cars too. There we go. Oh, I think I hit the pause button on the music. Sorry about that, guys. Bring back dislike. Yeah. Yeah. Hondas are nice. I like Hondas. I also like BMWs. I was in this auto slalom club for a while, and there was this like really old late model. I think it was I don't know if it was an M3 or if it was just an M something. It was just a really old BMW, and they had like taken literally everything out of it. It was just for the track, and it was this like these two old guys. They're, you know, good friends, and they built the car together and stuff and got it all set up, and then you could have multiple drivers for a single car, and they would just change the numbers on the car depending on which driver was going around the track at the time. So that's all they did, you know, and they were on a budget, but they built this like peppy little lightweight car, and yeah, it was fun racing with those guys for sure, and lots of other people. There was like one other Prelude every once in a while. Lots of you know, Mazda Miatas. There was a couple S2000s. I mean, lots of other cars, just off the top of my head, the ones I can think of. Oh, and then there was a Lotus Exige, which was cool, but I don't know if it was road legal. So I think he could only drive it at the track. I'm not sure what he had done to his, but yeah, he had a trailer and stuff. So he never drove it to the track on the road or anything. All right, so we stacked the 1mm pads on all of the spots and got the MX4 paste on there. We'll slap this thing back together. Make sure the pads aren't going to fall off. Nope, they're good. We touched up all the TGPP10. We got MX4. That's, you know, I must have bumped it with my finger. I'm not too worried about that. It's going to be okay. And I'll just watch these cables, because I have to be very careful nowadays so that they don't get between the VRAM and the cooler. And after this stream, I mean, we'll go out over the AirHot data, AirHut, whatever. We'll do that kind of quickly, and then I'll end the stream. Like, I'll update the charts and stuff, and then I'm going to start another stream after this one, and we're going to do some putty on a motherboard. So if you don't want to stick around for the number part, if you find that kind of stuff boring, no worries. But if you want to come back for the motherboard stuff, there'll be a notification that goes out on the Discord channel. So, which I'm sure some of you guys already know that. If you are not part of the Discord, by all means, we'd love to have you over there. It's a pretty awesome growing community of people that use thermal putty. And there's a lot more knowledge out there than just what I'm able to bring to the table. Yeah, there's some pretty smart people out there. You guys are among them. So, yeah, check out the Discord. It's a good spot. Definitely. Okay, we'll do the start pattern here. All right, we'll put the video card aside for now. I'll put that on the test bench when I have a moment. And the desk doesn't look too bad. I'm just gonna get the keyboard over here. Just one little spray. Hey, Code String, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. All right. Minimize that. Okay, let me just open some stuff up here. This bench, air hut. And we also need the calculator sheet and the VRAM chart. Bring Back Dislike says, I never found a relatively lightweight, low COG car of something car. I didn't love driving. Front wheel drive or rear, yeah, too poor to have a dedicated toy car, so given my driving skill, it's a front wheel drive life for me in the daily. Yeah, man. Nice. And Tune Spans, welcome to the stream. Hey, hello Snarks. I love your channel and in-depth videos. I'm sorry I can't join the live broadcast, so I'll watch it later. Could you say something about the thickness of the pads, new versus compressed? How many millimeters is too thick and how many millimeters is too thin? So, for my test card, it's a 1.8 millimeter gap between the VRAM and the cooler. And I'm using 2 millimeter pads from brand new. And they have to compress down to that 1.8 just using the mounting force. I don't have like a pad roller or compressor. I know some people, it's kind of like a fairly fancy tool. Well, not fancy, but I don't think it's cheap. And I don't plan on buying one because I just, yeah, I use thermal putty instead. But the pads I took off were also 2 millimeters. I was just testing those. Hopefully that answers your question. If it was bigger than 2 millimeters, if it was 2.5 for the VRAM on my card, it would be too thick. And if it was like 1.5 or below, it would be too thin. So it has to at least be 1.8 millimeters for this Zotac 3070 Ti. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, we are going to... Oh. Escape. Let's see. We're going to click on this over there, Control F, replace. Do for Furmark. Code string, pretty well. I thought I'd jump in since I saw the stream notification. Nice. Good to know the notification is working. I find Discord is more consistent with notifications than YouTube is. YouTube has like a fairly complex algorithm where they're like, yes, the person has clicked on the bell, but Should we send them the notification for the video? I don't know. Whereas the Discord is just like, yeah, send it out. And you guys can customize whether you like mute channels and stuff, so I figured that's probably the best way to do it. Francesco says, as I know, Gelid Ultimates should be harder to compress. They are definitely harder to compress than the Extremes, so I think it should lead to some core. Yeah, I'm expecting to probably see... Okay, see this little thing here? What is this? We're doing kapow. It dropped connection to the server, but that's okay because that's the warm-up hour, and the hour of data we're using is hour number 2 between these two lines. Just like that would be, I wouldn't use hour number 4, but anyways, let's go over here, and we're gonna add. I'll have to find the store that I got them. Air Hut 13 watt. And it is June 2nd. Look at that. It's wild. I could have sworn it was June 1st, but I guess it is past midnight for me, so that's that explains it. And I'm going to be doing another stream. Good times. All right, so we're going to grab the data here from the etc hash test. Oh, look at that one. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to use hour number 5. See how far down the temperature went? That must have lost connection to the server for like probably a minute or 2. Anyways, we're using the chunk of data right here, so that's okay. And it's really, these are the ambient calculated in there. So here we go. Is it pretty stable? 56.2. Yeah, I mean, we'll use that. That's fine. And this is etc hash. Chart. Paste. Mark. It's like consistent load. Yeah, it's pretty consistent. That. And kapow. Number 2 looks clean. Fans are good, right around that 2600. Especially the average, the 2592. It's nice to see. 65.06. I mean, that's the one we're going to use. Yeah. I can't wait to be testing on an AMD card for that improved accuracy. Oh, escape. Sorry, let's try that again. Control C. Random. All right, Air Hut 13 watt. Okay, ETH hash, ETC hash, I should say, 56.2. So we'll just put it right in here, just below the Thermalright Extreme Odyssey ones. And what's the core looking like? Yeah, so those air hut pads didn't have any noticeable. No, I mean the core temperature is bang on with you know, the 24 to 26s, whatever. It seems pretty good. It's not like a 29 for the extremes. What was the worst one? Well, the Valor Odin had some really hot spot stuff, 5 degrees. But yeah, the hot spot for the air hut is right around that 30. So a soft enough pad, if someone wanted to use pads, and well, not that the performance is great, but it's not horrible considering, really. I mean, yeah. I'm still going to go with putty myself, but all right, here we go. We've got Furmark 52-1, so that's going to go right between the critical and the owl tree. Yeah. Let's see. Just insert it up there. Did I delete that one? Yeah, let's delete this one here. And we'll do Kapow 65-1. So kind of between the owl tree and the thermalite. $65.1. All right, sorry, I'll catch up on chat here. Code string 100%. It's also generally faster compared to however long YouTube takes to send it out. Totally, yeah. Yeah, Discord is definitely the way to go for if anyone's wanting to get notifications and stuff. These are nice plastic tweezers from, I don't know if it's like Maxtor, the hard drive making brand or not, but anyways, I like those tweezers. Oh, this is it's getting too much. 37. I'm probably gonna have to go to PDFs here pretty soon on this chart. Can't just keep zooming out, you know. Eventually, when we double this chart size, right, it's gonna look like this. Like we'll test this many more things for sure. There's like at least another 10 putties to test, which is nuts, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of thermal putties out there that I still have to get. So I'm gonna have to go PDF eventually, and I'm gonna have to also, like, I'll have a master sheet, but I'll have to just start showing the top, I don't know, 20 or something. I gotta figure that out, what I'm gonna do. Yeah, let's repopulate these. So these are just, what do I have here? It just says equal. And then it uses, this is just like a simplified chart I think I used for, it was overclock.net, or maybe it was LTT, I can't remember. One of the forums. But, yeah, anyways. Which, maybe I would go and show a chart like this at some point, instead of this one, and still have this accessible. Probably have this one in a PDF form so people can look at all the data and find detail, and then maybe have this, because like I could probably have two of these side by side, and I could fit twice as many, and it would still be, you'd still see the change in color based on temperature, right? The conditional formatting. So actually, I kind of want to check the what do I have for like I don't want to change this right now, but right now I've got it set so it'll be red at 110, right? Because that's the throttle point, and anywhere close to that is I don't think it's ideal. I don't think you're gonna have a video card last for 10 years if you run it at 110 nonstop. But someone was saying recently that the ideal temperature is like 60, maybe 55. So I'm considering I might need to eventually change this to 55. And then this one here, because it's well, press escape. Oh shoot, it just locked up on me. I'll give it a second. It's thinking. There we go. This one here for conditional formatting. I'll just show you guys what we're dealing with there. So then I basically just went off of like a, I don't know, I should check that out on Google, like a worldwide ambient temperature for like people in different countries. Like if you're in Saudi Arabia, you don't have it down at like 20 or 21. They're fairly comfortable around 25 Celsius or plus or minus from there. So I think I've got this one set as like a, well, and a lot of my test data is showing right around that 25. So that's why these colors match up fairly well. And then, you know, 25 plus 85 is 110. And this is the 50th percentile. So anyways, Luis Sebastian H.A. Hey there, Snarks. Hey, Luis. How's it going, man? Good to see you on stream. I'm going to update this chart. Well, I'm going to save it for now. Make sure I update the dates. I should look at seeing if I can just update one date on one of the sheets and it auto updates. But I know from my work, we have sheets that reference multiple things, and sometimes those dates don't like copy over. So there's a way to do it. I just don't know that way, unfortunately. We'll hit save here, and I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to close this out for now. Oh, I should probably save these as well, so I don't lose the data. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them now. I'm going to end the stream in like a couple minutes here, and then in like another 10 minutes or so, I'm going to start another stream where we throw some thermal putty on a motherboard on the VRM and the, I want to say, South Bridge. I'll have to double check. Yeah, we're gonna put some thermal putty on a motherboard, and it's gonna be fun. And it'll just take me a few moments to get set up to do that. Probably like 5-10 minutes, I think. Save this stuff. We don't need to save that, because we don't want to save any changes if we mixed anything up. All right, well, I think that's it for now. I'm gonna see you guys back in yeah, 5-10 minutes here with a different stream.